If you have rim brakes on your bike, you may notice that they wear down and stop working as well after some time. Your bike doesn't slow down as quickly, your levers easily pull back to the grips, and due to adjustments over time, your brake arms wear on the tire. As you can see on my brake arms, the paint over the metal is almost completely worn off, and there's also some signs of wear on the tires. These are all issues related to well-used brake pads. To replace these pads, you want to start by disconnecting the arms from the cable. You can go online and find brand new exact match pads, or you can find some lightly used pads from an old broken bike. I have this old Mongoose bike behind my shed which has been slowly taken apart. As you can see, these pads are only slightly used, which makes them a great donor for my good bike. Hex wrenches are an essential bike repair tool. You'll need to use these to remove the old pads off your bike. With the correct size wrench, you can simply loosen the nuts and spin them off to release the pad from the brake arm. As you can see, my brake pads are severely worn. Now to put on the new pad. You want to make sure that you put it on with the curve of the pad matching the curve of the bike rim. As you can see, the pads do have a curve to them. Before you put the pads on the brake arms, you want to make sure that you choose the correct order of spacers. Hopefully you remember from when you took off the old pad, or you can just check the order of the spacers on the pads not taken off the bike yet. Once you've tightened on the nuts just enough to keep the spacers and the pads on the brake arms, you want to align the pads so that they fit the rim and the tire correctly. The pads should touch the rim when they're compressed, but should not make any contact with the tire when they're released. Once you've found this perfect sweet spot of where the brakes should be adjusted, you can tighten on those pads so that they stay secure and don't move. Do everything I just showed you also for the other side of the bike. Then once that's finished, you can reattach the cable. With the new thicker brake pads, you will need to adjust the brake cable. You'll need another hex wrench to loosen the bolt that secures the cable. On my bike, I could use the same size wrench for the bolt as I used to remove and attach the pad. Loosen the bolt enough so that the cable can move freely through the brake arm. Release or pull the cable to give the brakes just enough space from the rim. The pads should touch the rim when the brakes are pressed, but shouldn't make contact when the brakes are released. Once you've found this perfect position, you can tighten up the bolt again to secure the cable. Once you have this tightened, you may notice that after compressing and releasing the brakes, one brake pad is closer to the rim while another brake pad is farther from the rim, and that just means you need to adjust the springs on the sides of the brakes. So to do this, you can use a Phillips head screwdriver, and you just want to tighten the screw of the brake pad that's closer to the rim and loosen the one that's further. With the cable and springs adjusted, your brake pad should have equal space on either side of the rim and not make any contact with the tire when released, but make good contact when compressed. These bolts up front can be used to make small adjustments when you're out on a ride or when the brakes loosen up a bit. By loosening the bolts, the brakes will become tighter, but they should be all the way in when you adjust the cable on the brakes, because it'll give you plenty of space to tighten the brakes in the future. Now that the pads are replaced and my brakes are tuned, the brake arms don't rub on the tire and my bike slows down much more quickly. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd appreciate if you left a like on it. Also, subscribe to see all my future bike maintenance videos. Alright, get to it.